Kristen here. Welcome to the very last in the series of 10 steps to plan a Europe trip. Here we are, step number 10. And you've done all the previous 9 steps, I'm assuming, since you're here at this video. If you haven't, go down to the links below. Make sure you watch from the first, the second, and the third. This is the 4th in the series. It is the final in the 10 steps series. So you've done your research, you've added in the details, you've mapped everything out, you've planned your itinerary, and the most important step, step 9, you've let it stew and made changes as you thought of them, made changes as they came about, and now you're ready for step number 10. You're gonna book it. So let's start out booking the most important part, your plane tickets. If you live in the US like I do and you're going to Europe, that's gonna be the most expensive part of your trip. So get that one done first. That way you know what your budget is going to look like and how much you're going to spend on plane tickets versus how much you have left over for everything else. The key here is remembering that the longer you're there doesn't necessarily mean the more expensive it's going to be. Plane tickets are going to be pretty much the same price if you're going there and back within a week or going there and back within 3 weeks. So really the key is to stay as long as you can. So I have a few tips for booking your plane tickets. If at all possible, don't book on a weekend. Try and fly in and out sometime on a weekday. And you can play around with the days. Some days may be cheaper than others. So if you have a little flexibility in your booking, see what days may be less expensive. You can even do the flexible booking options that some different search engines have to really kind of feel that out. Speaking of different search engines, here's my second tip for booking your plane ticket. Shop around. Check every single search engine that you can possibly find. Google your plane tickets, Priceline, Expedia, I've used Kayak, I've gone straight to the airline source before as well and gotten good deals. You never know when somebody's going to be having a sale on a certain flight or a certain set of tickets, or even just a certain day. There's some people out there who talk about using private browsers or clearing your cache history after you've been searching for flights. I've played around with that, and to be honest, I haven't noticed a difference. Maybe $20. So it really wasn't enough for me to say, oh yeah, use a private browser because the browsers will get to know what you're searching and they'll up the price. I just never saw it. But definitely try it, and if you have good luck with it, comment down below and tell me what you did, because I just didn't see it. My third tip for booking your plane tickets, this is specific for flying from the United States to Europe. Book your flight where you leave in the evening. There's a reason for this, and it's called jet lag. I'm going to have some tips later on about how to avoid jet lag the best you can, but let's be honest, it's unavoidable. But one way to make the best of it is if you fly out at night, it's easier to go to sleep on the plane, because flying from the United States to Europe, you need to sleep on the plane. Booking hotels. So I don't really use hotels unless I have to. Here's why. I like to be able to do laundry because usually our trips are longer. If I can do laundry, I don't have to take as much clothing. I also like the ability to cook if I want to because sometimes you just want to save a little money and eat breakfast in. I'm also big about getting the local experience. So if I can stay in the apartment of a local, I'm going to do it every time. Now there are some benefits to hotels over a bed and breakfast or an Airbnb, which is what I use. Hotels can be easier if you've got an odd schedule. Say you're coming in at midnight one night. Trying to get an Airbnb host to meet you at midnight may be a little difficult. They may not be willing to do that. But a hotel is going to have a front desk that's probably going to be open. You may also want to use a hotel if you need a concierge service. Say you need help setting up dinner reservations, or you want somebody to give you directions or help you set up tours. If you need that, go for it. It's fine. Just remember that you're probably paying for that service, so make sure you use it. We prefer Airbnb, and we've saved a ton of money using Airbnbs over hotels. That said, we're still using a couple different hotels on our trip this time because we're only staying for one night and we're kind of coming in and going out at odd hours. So it makes more sense to be able to use a hotel that has a front desk just for that one night rather than bug an Airbnb host just for one night. A lot of times Airbnbs require 2-night minimum stays too. If you're interested in using Airbnb, I'm going to put a link down below. I absolutely love it. The third thing that you might need to book are tours. You may want a walking tour of a city or a special tour of a certain building like Hungarian Parliament, or some sort of tour of a historical event or a historical place. There can be a lot of value in getting a local to lead you through. Airbnb actually has a tour service where you can book these things given by locals. That has a lot of value, and they can even recommend other things for you to do after the tour. Another place you can find tours are local tourism sites. For example, Budapest has this great site curated by locals called budapestbylocals.com. It's an amazing website, and it has links to a lot of different tours run by local people. You also may need to search for special interest groups. If you're going to Waterloo and you want to see all of the Waterloo battlefields, you can try searching for Waterloo Battlefield Tours. If it's something pretty specific, it's probably out there. Somebody's probably got the niche market in it. You just need to find them. The fourth thing that you may want to book, dinner reservations. Now, I personally prefer just to wander along and find dinner as it comes. Some of the best dinners we've ever had were just by reading menus on the outside of doors. However, there are some restaurants that you just absolutely can't miss. Maybe it's something you've seen on TV, like an Anthony Bourdain or Andrew Zimmern, or if there is some place that somebody's recommended to you, you may want to make reservations at these places, especially if they're a high-end, popular restaurant. The higher-end restaurants tend to have websites where you can actually make reservations or at least email them and ask to make a reservation. Whatever reservation you're making, make sure you print it out. You're going to print all of this out and keep it in one place. From your plane tickets to your hotel to Airbnb to dinner reservations to car rentals if you're going to rent a car, you're going to need to keep up with this all in one place. I'll show you what I prefer. This. I love these expandable file folders. As you can see, it has this nice little closure. It's waterproof, which is good in case you spill your coffee on it because that's kind of something I tend to do. And it has all sorts of different pockets that you can use to separate out all of your reservations depending on where you're going. I used one of these the last time that we went and it worked beautifully. I was also able to keep a lot of kind of souvenir type paper, brochures, pamphlets, museum maps, things that you kind of want to keep up with because they're neat and they're a free souvenir. I used this to actually keep up with it all so I didn't have paper flying everywhere and all over my purse. I don't really carry this around with me on a day-to-day basis when I'm traveling, but this stays in my suitcase and I can take out what I need for the day. As you can see, printing out all of my reservations is one of the very last things I do in case I make any changes or they make any changes on me, because that is possible too. So probably about 2 weeks out, I'll start printing out all of my reservations, make sure everything is in line, and that I have everything I need before we leave. If you have any other questions about booking, comment down below and we can talk about them. Now this is the end of the 10 Steps to Plan a Europe Trip series, but this is not the end to all of the travel videos. We've got a lot more in store for you, things that you're not going to want to miss, like how to pack a carry-on, what I'm packing for our fall trip to Europe, all of my favorite camera and travel accessories that I love to take, travel safety tips, and a ton more as we get ready to go on our trip. So make sure you subscribe down below and I'll see you in the next video.